Welcome everybody to the Single and Stilettos Show. I'm Suzanne Oshima and I'm a matchmaker and dating coach at Dream Bachelor and Bachelorette, and I'm also the founder of Single and Stilettos. Today we have on our show Tracey Steinberg, and she's a dating coach and flirting expert and the founder at Dateologist. And I'm so excited to have her here today because she's going to give us some amazing flirting tips for when you're out and trying to meet the right guys. So welcome, Tracey, to the show.
Thank you so much, Suzanne, for having me. I'm so happy to be here.
I know, this is great because I know all the women out there can use some new flirting tips. But before we get into your great tips, I would love for you to tell our audience how you got started in the business.
Sure. I was actually a civil litigation trial attorney before this, which is kind of the opposite of being a flirting expert.
Exactly opposite. Polar opposites.
But to make a long story short, I had some personal things happen, and it really kind of shook my world and made me realize what was truly important in life. And what I realized after all that was that love, and that I really wanted to find my own husband, and I wanted to help every woman out there who wants to find a great husband find theirs.
See, so I guess your flirting tips worked for yourself, right? So you really are an expert. All right, so let's get started. So I want to ask you about I know you have a million flirting tips, but I want to narrow it down to 5. So I know your first flirting tip is about eye contact, which is so important. And I think a lot of people think that's a given, but tell us more about what your thoughts are on that.
Sure. Well, so many women that I work with have problems with eye contact. They get uncomfortable when they're with someone that they're attracted to, and I tell them, listen, you need to be communicating that you are interested in this guy. Just like you want him to be interested in you, you need to be communicating with your eyes. Flirting is really communicating non-verbally, and your inner voice comes out through your eyes, and, it's all about the eye contact. Like, look at this. Like, if I'm looking at you like this, right? Like,
you're flirting with me.
Exactly. You see, I just triggered that response, as opposed to if I'm like this. Right? Like, you lose interest. Chemistry is created by the way you look at him and the way he looks at you. And, you're 50% of that relationship, so might as well give him that beautiful eye contact.
I think that's a really great point. And I think another great point is, people can tell when you're like looking everywhere else and noticing other people in the bar, you're not really paying attention to them. So eye contact is key. And I love that you said the nonverbal is so important when it comes to flirting, because I think a lot of people think it's about what you say. That's not everything.
It's nothing. In fact, I tell people, talk about silly things, talk about light things, talk about nothing, but you want to be communicating with your eyes, with the way you're looking at him, maybe even touch him on his shoulder or something. You want to be communicating non-verbally, like, I like you, I'm interested in you, and I'm having fun with you.
That's great. So now let's go on to your second tip, which is compliment freely.
Yeah, compliment freely. You know what? Just like we like to receive compliments, men like to receive compliments. You want to make him feel really good about himself, because that's really attractive. Confident men want to be around women who support them feeling confident. Just like we like a man who compliments us, we like a man who supports our own confidence. They do too.
So can you give some examples of a nice compliment to give a guy where he's just going to feel great about himself?
Sure. Like, for example, let's say you're talking to him about he plays softball, right? And so he's telling you how he just did great on his softball team, whatever. I would say, with biceps like that, I bet you did.
And, I'm laughing, and I know some of the women are going, oh, that's ridiculous. He's going to see right through that. But I will tell you, men will eat that up. They eat it up. When you talk about their body or you compliment them on anything, they love it just like we do, like you said.
Totally. You know what? I mean, the way I just said that was light and fun and complimenting. He really does have good biceps, and believe me, he's at the gym every day so that a cute girl notices his biceps. So it'll go over well.
That's a good point. And, I noticed one thing when you gave that compliment is your eyes. So a combination of the eyes and you got to use both of those, right?
Mm-hmm. Oh, yeah, these should all be going on at the same time.
Okay, so your third tip is to align yourself with his passions.
Yeah. So everyone's favorite conversation is their favorite conversation. Like, for example, I have a little dog. I love talking about my Chelsea the Chihuahua. So I'll enjoy talking to anyone who will talk to me about my dog. So it's the same thing with men. You know, if he's talking about how he is like awesome on his softball team or whatever, let him keep talking about that, because if it's his favorite conversation, he'll be enjoying the conversation. He'll be enjoying you. He'll have positive feelings for you, and he'll want to keep extending the conversation, maybe at a fancy restaurant on Saturday night.
Well, that's a good point, but now I'm going to bring something up. Now,
Okay.
what if his passion is something that she's not really interested in? What are your suggestions there?
Sure. Well, you should always be honest. You never want to pretend to be something that you're not.
Okay.
But if you're interested in him, you should be open to hearing what he has to say. So, like, for example, I don't know anything about football, but if I was single and I was talking to a handsome football player, I would say, I don't know anything about football. What do you love about it so much? And that way you can have him sharing his topic with you while you're authentically saying, like, I'm no football expert. Like, I don't know, you know. I don't even know if it's football season right now.
I know, and this is what I would like to add to that. It's men love to teach women about things. And so, ladies, don't feel like you're being stupid because you don't know about football or whatever it is. Men love to teach women about whatever it is they're so knowledgeable about, and it'll make them feel more like a man.
Right, definitely. I agree with everything you said.
So your tip number 4 is to let him feel confident that you're interested.
Yeah.
And I love this tip because I think a lot of women are like, no, he should just know.
Yeah. Here's the thing. You know, player guys will hit on everyone.
Right.
We don't want players. We want the boy next door who, quite frankly, has been rejected and he doesn't like it. So I work with men and women, and so many men I've worked with are handsome, accomplished, like go to the gym, good guys, but they don't want to put themselves out there if they think they're going to be rejected. So ladies, let him know that you are open to going on a date with him. So you want an example of that?
Yes, I do. You read my mind. I was going to ask you that.
So an example of that would be make it obvious that you go on a date with him. So if you meet him at, give me a place, give me a location.
Oh, I don't know, a sports bar.
Okay, so you meet him at a sports bar, and he's talking to you about beer, right? And you don't know anything about beer, right? Let's just say, for example, if I wanted to go out with this handsome sports bar patron, I would say, wow, you know so much about beer. Where do you go? Where do you like to go to have beer? I don't know that much about beer. Have you ever taught anyone? Have you ever introduced beer to anyone? Wow, you're probably so great at that. Your friends must love going to places with you where they have beer because you're so knowledgeable. Wow. I would just like, I mean, did you start to get the feeling that if you invited me to go for beer, that I'd be open to it?
Yeah, and it's also like really building him up too. And ladies, I know you think men should be built up already. No, they need that just as much as women do.
Yeah. And they like spending time with a woman who enjoys them and appreciates them just like we do.
Exactly. Great point. So your last tip is about light conversation. So let's talk about that.
Yes, keep the conversation light and silly. Keep it up, keep it positive, keep it enthusiastic. Talk about topics that make you feel confident, that make you feel good about yourself. Like, so for example, if he asks you about your job and like your boss is a disaster and you're about to get fired, you don't share that.
Exactly. I love that you said that.
Yeah, what you do is you say, like, I have great coworkers and we go to happy hour every Thursday. Or even if it's, I have a really comfortable chair. Whatever it is, this isn't the time to dump negative feelings. This is the time to, this is a stranger. You want to keep the energy between the two of you up. You always want to be authentic and you always want to tell the truth. But you want to take into consideration that you're talking to a handsome stranger, and you want to keep the energy positive and light and keep the conversation light.
Right. Ladies, no Debbie Downers. And this isn't like a therapy session where you're going to dump everything on the guy. Very, very, very important. So these have been some great tips, but I want to ask you a couple more questions.
Sure.
So a lot of ladies will tell me they're really shy and they just don't know how to flirt. So can you give the ladies that are shy some tips?
Okay, first of all, everyone knows how to flirt. They just get in their own way. So what I tell women that are shy is, first of all, stop calling yourself shy. Because
that's a good point.
Because that is just a mental block, okay? And here's the deal, and this is going to sound harsh, but if you want to meet someone special, you have to meet lots of men. And so in order to meet lots of men, you need to be meeting men. You can't get a boyfriend that you choose the best of all the men unless you've met a lot of men.
Exactly.
So what I tell them is to get in touch with that primal aspect, like when they see, George Clooney standing by the bar, and like, I want to meet him. Like, he's handsome, he's sexy. Get in touch with that, and then give him some eye contact, smile, and maybe ask him a question. But you need to be meeting lots of men in order to meet someone special. So you got to do it. Maybe they can come to one of my flirting parties and I can help them. I don't know. But, flirting is one of life's greatest pleasures. And if you're missing out on it, that's a shame. It's really something that, as women, it's our right to flirt. And let's not give that up.
And and I love that you said that, because it makes you feel good inside. Even if you're not interested in the guy, it's just fun to do. And I think ladies, you should just practice on all men, and then you'll become really good at it.
Exactly. And it's like, and you can practice on the coffee, the Starbucks guy, and see how fast you get your cafe au lait.
Yeah, and you might get a free one next time.
Exactly.
And then you'll know you're doing a great job at flirting, right?
There are like 2 Tracey with little hearts on it or something.
Or he'll write his phone number on the cup. And you don't have to call him, but you'll know that you're doing a good job at flirting.
Right.
So let's talk about, my last question is about texting and flirting. So I know, a lot of people can mistake what someone says over texting, but can you give the ladies some good tips on flirting over texting?
Sure. I think texting in general, I know people have like life-changing conversations over text, but I think that text should really be limited to just like short and sweet and fun. Like, send a text and just say, like, ooh la la, or something like that. It should be, you don't have a conversation over text. It's just, can't wait to see you tonight, bought a new outfit, can't wait to show it to you, something like that. Just light, fun. Flirting is all about enjoying yourself and enjoying the lucky man you're flirting with. So just keep that in mind when you're texting, and just keep it short and sweet and fun.
I think that's a great point, because that's what flirting is just about having fun. Stop taking things so serious, ladies.
Yeah. It's all about enjoying yourself.
Exactly. So my very last question is, give us your best dating tip for women.
Okay. My best dating tip, you probably already, figured out what it is, but it's basically treat him like royalty. I mean, we want to be treated like royalty, so we should treat him like royalty. Do all the things that I talked about. Give him your full attention, appreciate his best traits, see his positives, and really focus on those. And like, don't worry so much about like, maybe he has gorgeous eyes, but he doesn't have a 6-pack. Like, tell him how much you appreciate his gorgeous eyes. Just see his positives, make him feel great about himself, and he won't be able to get enough of you.
That is so true. That's a really, really good point. Well, these have been some great flirting tips. So now, how can our audience find you?
Sure. Well, I have a website, TraceySteinberg.com, TraceySteinberg. It's probably going to be on the down, right? And then from there, I have Facebook and Twitter and YouTube videos and my blog and all my different services that I offer, and stories, and you can go there and go crazy.
So now, I know in the fall of this 2013, you're coming out with a new book. So tell us a little bit about that.
Yes, I am so excited. So my new book is called Flirt for Fun and Meet the One.
Oh, I love that title. That's so cute.
And then the subtitle is Dating Secrets from the Dateologist. And it's basically everything a woman needs to know, from figuring out the type of man that they're interested in, to how to put their own best foot forward, to where to go to meet men, to how to flirt once they meet someone handsome and interesting, and then how to, rock the first date, and then how to leave them wanting more. So it's a fun book. It'll be out in the fall of 2013.
That is so great. So ladies, if you want some more great flirting tips, go to Tracey's site, TraceySteinberg.com. And thanks everybody for joining us on the Single and Stilettos show. The show is available both in video format and podcast format. If you would like to watch the videos, you can go to singleandstilettos.com. And if you would like to download the podcast, you can go to iTunes. And if you would like to get our free report on the top 10 secrets on what attracts a man and what turns him off, you can click right here on the video, or you can go to singleandstilettos.com.